at school for a reason. It could come to your team and mess up your flow and what you're trying to build as a program as well. So when you are hopping to that portal, make sure you're getting high character guys and adding them to your culture that you're trying to build.
Yep.
And some teams clearly was overlooking who they played against and just thought it was going to be a breeze, a walk in the park, and they were in for a rude awakening. So
Yep.
that's another thing I took away too.
I always think, we kind of talked about this earlier too. Is I feel like week 1 to week 2 is always the biggest overreactions in the market. So like a team like Oregon, for example, they won 24-14, but they outgained Idaho like 420 yards to like 100 and something, and people are like, well, they only beat them by 20 points or they only beat them by 10 points. But it's like if you actually dig deeper into like the data and stuff, it's like they probably could have won that game by a lot more. It's just they didn't finish drives, and I expect a lot more from Oregon basically. And I think a lot of people kind of overreacted. Like that line opened 18, Irv, and I was like, this is way low. Like, Oregon should be like a fucking like 23, 24 point favorite against Boise, dude. Like, what the fuck is this? So, we'll talk about that game in a little bit, but that was one. And then I feel like a lot of people overreacted to Michigan, only winning by 20, even though I felt like they really controlled that entire game. And I was on Fresno plus 21, so I was happy that they covered there. But part of the reason why I was on Fresno plus 21 is because I thought that Michigan was gonna overlook Fresno for their week 2 matchup against Texas. So there's always that. USC big dub on Sunday night. 9.2 million people watched that game, Irv. 9.2
Because of
million.
that seat.
Most
They was
watched.
most of them tuned in because they thought we was gonna get our ass whooped. Our defense was gonna still be a pushover, and the SEC was gonna reign supreme. Well, newsflash: all you motherfuckers was wrong. Side cut, college football, fine bomb.
Dog shit.
Who else? Colin Cowherd, who's the ultimate USC groupie again. After saying we was gonna go 7-5 before the season just started, he thought LSU was gonna out physical us. Those are two of the biggest pundits that were just dead ass wrong. Then a lot of YouTube channels I watch said USC was going to get out physical and had us going 7-5 and 8-4 or something like that, struggling our first year in the Big Ten. So I just know it's just music to my ears. Not all of them got to sing a different tune now.
Yeah, it was. I was very impressed with USC's defense, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the first drive I was like, oh my god, here we go again, dude. Like, this is the same old fucking story. But then they had that fourth and goal stop, and I was like, oh shit, like this is a new team, bro. You know what I mean? And they came up they came up big multiple times when they had to. The defense did, and they stood on their fucking head a few times. And obviously it's only week 1, and some things can be changed, and obviously we can get better at a lot of things. But the biggest takeaway for me was that Eric Gentry finally being utilized, dude, and that was something we talked about on last week's show. I felt Alex Grinch not being able to utilize Eric Gentry was part of his big downfall. And he was probably the best player on that defense on Sunday night, dude. He had fucking 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack. I mean, the kid can ball, dude, and he's like fucking 6'6" with like a fucking 10-foot wingspan. So like, you gotta figure out how to use an athlete like that, dude. So I'm excited for SC football, man. We both said that they could be a dark horse this year in the Big Ten, and I truly still believe that. Would like to see some Jaden Maiava though. Would like to see him in some packages. Or
Yeah, but I think he's gonna stick with Miller. Oh,
offensive pass interference.
defensive. He
Oh yeah,
pulled
that
him
was
pulled him by his helmet at the end.
that was
And I think they got a false start too. I mean, offsides.
damn, not a good start for KC's defense here. Um, all right, let's hop into some of these games. So the first one we're going to talk about is Texas and Michigan. Texas heading into the big house. Currently, Michigan plus 7.5 basically everywhere. The total's at 42.5. On the money line, Texas minus 275. Michigan coming back the other way plus 220. Last week, Texas, they handled business at home against Colorado State, beat the living shit out of them 52-0. And as I said earlier, Michigan won but did not cover against Fresno State. They won 30-10. The closing line on that was 20.5. So if you bet Michigan, you got fucking hooked, unfortunately. What's your thoughts on this game, Merv?
This game is gonna come down to the interior, and the weapons on the outside because Michigan, they have the run game, they have the linemen, they have a damn good tight end, but what they didn't have on the outside, and they got to find quick, is a receiver that can take some pressure off that run game and off that tight end. So teams just don't zero in on that and not respect their passing game. Texas, on the other hand, it looks like they have an elite offensive line. They got a pretty damn good quarterback, or top four, top five QB in the game, and they got speed and playmakers to burn on the outside. So can Michigan score enough to keep up with them at home? Is going to be the key point of this game, because Michigan can't have any turnovers this game. If they turn the ball over in any way, shape, or form, special teams, offense, it's going to be pretty bad because they're lacking on the outside to keep up with a team like Texas.
I mean, I think both teams have to take care of the ball, to be honest.
Yeah, of course. Taking care of the ball is part of winning the game, but when you know another team has more playmakers than you on the outside, taking care of the ball and keeping the ball away from them becomes the ultimate game plan, as I would say.
Yeah. Texas did win 52-0, but as far as rushing the ball, they weren't like dominant rushing against not a great, not a terrible Colorado
Yeah, but
State
they probably
defense.
could have kept it a lot vanilla because they knew we were looking forward to Michigan. So I don't think they showed everything, especially with Sark being your offensive coordinator and your head coach. So
Yeah,
I
no,
think
I
we see
agree.
more of an open playbook this year. But they didn't want to probably didn't want to put too much on film against Colorado State to show Michigan, try to catch them off guard. And
No,
Michigan probably did the same thing. You never know, but sometimes that offense did not look good. So we'll see.
yeah, and I'll be honest with you, like I'm not expecting Michigan to come out here and light up the scoreboard. Like I personally think this is gonna be a defensive battle. Like I think this is gonna be a very low scoring game. Um, but I will say this: I think Fresno State is way better than Colorado State. Fresno
Way better.
Fresno State's gonna win is gonna probably win the Mountain West. It's gonna be them, UNLV, or Fresno State. And Colorado State's gonna be like mid level in that conference, which isn't a good conference this year. It's definitely down. So I will say that, and Fresno State, they moved the ball passing wise, but I mean, like, dude, they were down like multiple scores basically, like from the jump. Like they had to fucking throw the ball and shit. So I will say that, and I definitely think Michigan was overlooking. I think a touchdown is too much. I played Michigan plus 7.5. I like Michigan plus 7.5. If this was on the road or a neutral field game, I would have way different opinions on this game. But because it's being played in Michigan, I think that gives Michigan a edge here. And I think they're gonna hang in this game, bro. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be low scoring. I also don't mind the under. I just think the under at 42.5 is really fucking low. So,
Andrew Voorhees. Yeah. But the thing about that is, man, if it does get into like the 20s or the 30s, I think Michigan might get their ass served
yeah, but I
because
mean, like but that's the thing is a total saying that this is gonna be a low game, low scoring
yeah,
game, and I think that way too. Like I think this is gonna be, in my opinion, like a 17-14 type game, a 21-17 type game. But the thing is
okay.
that total is too low for me because all it takes is one turnover to flip the field, and that total could go over, dude. Because it's that.
Way over.
So I have no interest in playing the total, although I do lean the under. But I do like Michigan plus 7.5 here, and I
Baltimore touchdown.
yeah they
Told you, man. KC don't get off the good starts, man.
bro, it's one drive.
It don't matter.
Kansas City doesn't even touch the ball.
Oh no, man. This game give me Lions vibes. Last year when they kicked off the season.
Kansas City has they got two. They're such a better offense this year than last year. That's the difference
That's
in Kansas City. AK just texted me. What did he say? He said that was too fucking easy. All right. Let's move on to our next game. We have Iowa and Iowa State. the in-state battle. This is a game that I don't have a ton of opinion on, but I will break it down as best as we can.
Yes. Shout out to good old Jim Ross because
Oof.
this game is going to be a slobber knocker in every sense of the word, but it's not going to be a good slobber knocker like a good old fashioned fist fight.
Yeah, the total's
This
at
shit is
35 and a half, Irv.
yeah, this shit is going to take football back to the 1910s, right before the forward pass was legal. Um, Iowa, man, them putting up 40 points is probably the worst misnomer I've ever seen in my life because it was against an FCS school. Um,
They only had like
I
3 points
don't,
at half, though, right?
and I think they only had 3 points at halftime or something like that. But yeah, man, the final of this game probably gonna be 7-3, 10-3, 10-3, 13-10, something like that. I don't expect this game to get into the 20s for either team. Now, Iowa State, they don't have a bunch of playmakers on offense, so they're what's the name right now is kind of like Iowa, play great defense, don't turn the ball over and try to squeak out a 10, 12, 13 play drive and score some points. But yeah, I'm surprised it's over under ain't at 30. I'm surprised it's at 35.
Yeah, it's not very. This isn't gonna be a very good game, and I lean Iowa State here. But since this game is being played at Iowa, that's why I don't really have a say play on this. Plus, Matt Campbell has kind of underperformed in these matchups before, but as we know, Matt Campbell always over succeeds when he has no expectations, and Iowa State doesn't really have a ton of expectations this year. So it is a scenario where I could really see Iowa State pulling an upset here, just because I think Iowa is fucking trash, dude. Like that offense sucks, dude. And Iowa State's offense isn't much better, or I think it's better, but I don't think it's much better.
Much better.
So I definitely think it's gonna be a fucking shit game to watch unless you like fucking special teams. So
Man, what's the over under on punts for this game?
yeah, I was gonna say, dude, that might be the best play. It's probably gonna be 11 and a half or something.
Yeah, so yeah, so whatever that over under is on the punts, you take the over.
Whoever flips the field with special teams is gonna end up winning this game.
Yeah, I
That's how it's
agree.
gonna fucking that's how this game's gonna come down. But yeah, I don't have any play on this game. I don't like this game at all. I'm with you. If you had a gun to my head and I had to play something, I would play an under. But I've seen a lot of people, they're just like playing Iowa, and a lot of people have an opinion on this game, and I'm just like, that's great, but I just don't see it, dude. Like I don't know how you could take a side on this game, dude. It's
I can't.
it's a wild game, man. But yeah, so no play for me here. Lean the under, lean Iowa State. If it got to 3.5, I would much more like Iowa State. But since it's at 2.5, I don't like that number, dude, because this game's probably gonna be decided by a fucking field goal. So I don't love that. Don't love that at all. All right, let's move over to Tennessee and NC State. So this is another one of the games that I was talking about, some market overreactions, and this game opened at 7. It's been bet all the way up to Tennessee laying 10 now. The total is, what's the total at right now? Is it still at 61 and a half?
Yeah, 61, 61 and a half, 6. I think 62 or something.
Yeah, 60. It's been floating 60 to 61 basically all week. Um, Tennessee took care of business against Chattanooga. They won 69-3. Nico looked really good. And then NC State struggled in the first half against Western Carolina, but ended up winning the game 38-21. Kind of figured it out in the second half and really took care of business. What's your thoughts on Tennessee and NC State here? Being played at NC State.
Honestly, I think this game comes down to the quarterbacks and which defense can force or get a timely stop or a turnover. But if Nico played like he did that first half, we talking about a Heisman. Well, he's pretty much a Heisman contender because he'll be on the same pace or the same level as Hendon Hooker was his first couple of starts with Tennessee. Now, what thing is with NC State, they were losing in the fourth quarter to a SCS school. Now that could be a market overreaction with this line.
No, they were losing
But if they come out like they
they
did
were
in that
losing in
first
the
half
second
against
half.
Western Carolina,
They in the fourth quarter they took care. They handled business.
I know, but they was losing to start the fourth quarter. That's the main point.
Were
And
they?
it's
I thought they were winning
yeah, they
once
was
they got to the fourth
no, they
quarter.
was losing to start the fourth quarter against Western Carolina. Now they play like they did that first half against Western Carolina. they actually be down 21 points at halftime. So they got to come out the gate a lot stronger against Tennessee. And Grayson McCall is a good QB. He's an NFL talent. So, and I think he's gonna take this team as far as they can go because outside of him, that defense is still good, but it's not as good as last year's defense. So they're gonna have to make up for that with scoring a little more on offense or being more solid on special teams. This is gonna be a tough test for both teams early in the season. They say it's a neutral site game, but it's being played in Charlotte. So
Yeah. I mean, there will be a lot of Tennessee fans there for sure.
yeah,
Um, I man, Irv, I just think 10 is like way too many points, dude. Like,
yeah, I think 10 is too many points, but it could if they put. I don't know because I don't know, man. NC State didn't look great against Western Carolina, and
yeah,
Tennessee is going to be one of the better SEC schools this year.
but
So
they ended up winning by 17.
I know, but they was favored by what like 24,
They're favored by
30.
28.
Yeah, so
But, it's the first week of the year, new quarterback. Grayson McCall looked really good in the second half. He looked a little. Honestly, the first half looked like they were like still practicing and shit. You know what I mean? Like it looked like it wasn't well-oiled machine, obviously, and that was to be expected. But I think the difference in this game really is Grayson McCall's running ability, dude. Because I think that NC State's going to be able to run the ball. I don't really have a take on the side. I do think at 10, I would play. I lean NC State. Touchdown Chiefs. That was pretty quick, Erv. I told you can't just chalk it up after one drive, bro. Fucking
I don't
Xavier
know,
Worthy,
man.
baby. I'm telling you, babe.
Like
You Patrick Mahomes finally got weapons again.
that's cool, but I just don't like the way the Chiefs start the season. They don't start off hot. They get better as the season goes on.
Xavier Worthy. This is a different Chiefs team. But back to the Tennessee NC State game. I think this is gonna be a very high scoring game, dude. I think this game is gonna be like in the 40s, and I'm with you, dude. I think this game's gonna come down to one possession at the end or who makes one mistake. But I think both these offenses take care of business. I don't really want to issue on the side. I played over 60 and a half. So I'm there, dude. I like that. I'll give that play out. Tennessee, NC State over 16 and a half. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, definitely. If you love offense, you're gonna definitely want to watch this game.
This is going to be a game that both teams, I think, fucking score the ball basically every time they fucking touch it. And because I said that, it'll probably be a very low scoring game.
Nah, I don't think this one will be low scoring at all.
I would the way my shit goes, dude. Anytime something seems too obvious, it always goes the fucking other way. All right, let's move into our next game. We have Colorado versus Nebraska. This is a rematch of last year's game, except this year, Nebraska has somebody that can complete a forward pass, which is a benefit to them in 2024. Currently, Nebraska is anywhere from 7 to 7.5 point favorites. The total's at 56.5. What's your thoughts on Nebraska and Colorado here?
This game is a lot like last year game. Nebraska has the better defense,
Better offense
better
this year.
O-line. They have a better quarterback clearly now with Dylan Raiola. So they should win. I don't think they're gonna win by more than 7.5. I think it's gonna be a close game because the two best players on the field is gonna be on Colorado side of the ball. So I think it's gonna be close. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado wins or Nebraska wins. But if Travis Hunter plays like he did week 1, and he has like a Superman performance, then I could see Colorado maybe winning one late. But everything is trending towards Nebraska as of right now, especially with that line. Because I think this line started off at like 3 or 4. Now it's bet all the way up to 7. So everything's trending towards Nebraska. It reminds me a lot like last year game, but maybe the difference is Nebraska's at home. We'll see. It's a no play for me as far as picking a side, but I do think that that over is probably going to hit because Nebraska played UTEP in week 1, which is not really a test. They actually going to be facing a real offense this
Oh,
week.
and North
So
Dakota State's a real test.
yeah, they're one of the best FCS schools
Yeah,
there
but
is,
UTEP's
and they're
still a
pretty
D1
much
program, dude. Come on, what are
they
we
still could
doing?
be so you telling me if North Dakota State played fucking UTEP would beat them?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, dude.
Highly doubt it.
This is the thing. Montana State beat New Mexico, and New Mexico had Arizona on the ropes for 3 quarters. You know what I mean? So it's like D1 teams they're still D1 teams, dude. And UTEP is not good this year. They're a rebuilding program. They have a new coach, etc. I do agree with that, but North Dakota State is still an FCS team, and FCS players would be on FBS teams if they could be. Like, trust me,
Um,
if North Dakota State players got asked to go to UTEP, they would be playing on UTEP.
no, but a lot of the players are getting from the transfer portal because the transfer portal. Everybody that hops in that portal from a D1 school does not end up at another D1 school. So a lot of those guys do drop down to the FCS level. Now I would have to actually take a deep dive into what's the name roster to see how many FBS players they have. How many players they have with FBS offers, but I'm taking North Dakota State over UTEP. I'm sorry, but that's neither here nor there. The main point of this is if Colorado could muster up some type of run game, if they could be decent against the run and not let fucking Nebraska run all over them, and they would have to force that freshman quarterback to beat them, then they might have a better shot because he's still a freshman. I know he has all world talent. He got a strong arm. He's great. He's probably going to be a great player. Probably be the best quarterback Nebraska ever had. But right now, he's a true freshman, and all true freshmen have to go through their growing pains. So if
He looks
that
fucking good though.
so that Colorado DC could make him beat them, they have a way better shot at winning than not being able to stop the run and getting killed by play action. So
See,
that's what it's going to come down to.
my biggest
And
thing for Colorado, Irv, on the flip side of that is that they couldn't run the ball for shit against North Dakota State, dude. They averaged 2.9 yards per carry. That's bottom third of fucking Division 1 football. They could not run the ball. And what was their issue last year? Their issue last year was they couldn't run the ball and they became one dimensional, and then teams would just fucking shut down the passing game. And that's the thing is
yeah,
like,
but the thing about last year game though, what's the name had 7 sacks, but they also had 4 turnovers.
but I'm not talking about I'm not talking about Nebraska necessarily, the Nebraska game last year. I'm just talking about when they went on that losing streak last year. Like, why did they go on that losing streak? Big part of it, A, they couldn't play defense, and B, they couldn't run the football.
Well, they definitely have to run the ball this week because they're on the road and they can't just let the Shador drop back 40, 50 times and try to beat the team throwing the ball. So
But now they're
they
facing
got
a
to have
good
some type
Nebraska
of run
front.
game.
They're facing a really good front seven, dude. A very good front seven in Nebraska. So I honestly, I don't know how. Like, I know Colorado can throw the ball, dude. I know they can score by throwing the ball. I just think Nebraska is going to make them one dimensional, and they're going to completely take away the run game and just fucking shut down the passing game. Will they shut down completely? No, probably not. But the thing is Nebraska has a way better defense than Colorado. I have way more faith in Nebraska shutting down Colorado than I do in Colorado shutting down Nebraska, regardless if Dylan Raiola is a freshman or not. Dylan Raiola made some throws last week that I was like, fuck, dude, that kid could fucking sling the fucking rock. There's a reason why Mahomes likes this kid. You know what I mean? So I like Nebraska. I played him at 6.5. I didn't get an opportunity to play him 3.5 because I didn't have access to any book that had it up at that price. So I did play 6.5. I would play this to 7. 7.5 is a stay away from me though. 7, I cut it off at a touchdown. Because I'm with you, dude. This could be a fucking shootout. It very well could be. But I just think I absolutely think Colorado's going to struggle if they cannot run the football. I think they have to run the football, dude. They have to figure out a way to run the fucking ball.
Well, if they do run the football and have any resemblance of a run game,
It'll be a
that can
really
definitely
close game.
change the game.
It'll be a really close game if they can run it. Because Nebraska is going to be able to run the ball. they're gonna be able to run the football, and they're gonna be able to stop the run. They got to run the football. This is Deion's last year coaching, dude. He's going back to the media.
I don't think he's leaving Colorado after this year.
Dude, I think so, bro. Like I don't think he like actually loves coaching. I
If
think
he didn't love coaching, he wouldn't do it. Now I can see people always say, "Oh, he loved coaching his sons," but I don't think he's gonna leave because his sons aren't at Colorado no more.
I think he likes coaching. I don't think he likes the grind of coaching. Bro, he could make way more money or just as much money fucking doing a show once a week, dude. And
Hey, you
still
want to be a head coach?
still talking ball. But all jokes aside and shit about Deion, like I think Deion can be extremely successful if he wasn't so stubborn and hired the right coaches, dude. He has to hire the right coaches, and he's too stubborn. The way he did Sean Lewis last year is fucking dirty. Even Gibson was saying like the way he did Sean Lewis was a fucking joke, dude. Like
Yeah, it could be, but you also gotta look at the miss side of the play too. He knew the offensive line was a weakness, and he didn't change the offense, and he had Shador out there getting sacked down there 10 times a game. So, and at the end of the day, you could call it daddy ball does not help kids most of the time, but if you're coaching your son and he's an NFL talent, you got to protect him. And Sean Lewis didn't do that, so I wouldn't have fired him personally because he is a damn good offensive coach. I would have just sat him down and tell him you got to switch it up until we get a better O line. Maybe he refused to do that, and Deion wanted to go another way. But at the end of the day, they hired, I think, Pat Shermer, whoever the
yeah,
hell the OC is now. Offense looks good. It's just they got to run the ball. I don't know why they always abandon the run for some reason.
they can't run the ball. That's a problem. They averaged 2.9 yards a carry last game. That's terrible.
How many times did they run the ball? I didn't look at that.
23
Honestly,
times.
I only watched the fourth quarter of that game, so
They ran the ball 23 times for 59 yards
then yeah, you gotta. That's just
or 69
execution at that
yards.
point.
Yeah, this Chiefs offense is different, Irv. It's a different offense, dog.
I mean, Chiefs defense. Ooh.
Not Chiefs offense.
Oh, they on defense right now.
No, they're on offense.
Oh, I'm behind then.
They were on they were on defense, but they got the ball back. What happened to my Padres? Oh, but Profar homered. Profar easy money. Nice. All right, Irv. Last game, Boise versus Oregon. Boise had a hell of a game against Georgia Southern. I don't know if you watched that one, but that was honestly probably the most entertaining game other than USC and LSU of the weekend was that Georgia Southern and Boise game. Uh, Genty had fucking like 300 yards on like 18 carries, dude. That's incredible. And then
Damn.
Oregon really struggled. Oregon really struggled. Not they didn't struggle. They averaged, like I said, they had put up 420 yards, but only won 24-20. This game's currently at 20.5. It's been bet up from 18. The total's at 60.5. What's your thoughts on this one?
Will Oregon come out and be the team that a lot of people thought they were gonna be? One of the probably the best team, second best team in the Big Ten. Starting a season like that against Idaho, it could just be they overlooked them and they probably look okay, we got a cupcake. We don't gotta show up and play, but that cupcake stayed around to the end of the game, basically. They didn't get a double digit lead to like 5 minutes left in the game. So that's something else you got to check on. Boise State, they could score, but can they stop a nosebleed? Wasn't the final score in that game like
56 to
55?
45.
Yeah, 56-45. So you might, if they can score, you might want to look at that over because I don't see them stopping Oregon personally that much. They know they probably go in and win they got to go in and win a shootout. Now, Boise State is undefeated against Oregon all the time, but this ain't the same Boise State that was coached by that legendary coach. So
Yeah, and this isn't the same Oregon. You know what I mean? This is the last time they played. I think it was like 2008. It was a long time ago.
well, Oregon was ranked. They lost, but
Yeah,
it's not the same.
It was at Boise too, for what it's
yeah.
worth.
So
I think the biggest thing is like, I'm telling you right now, Boise State ain't running for fucking 400 and something yards this week, dude. Like that ain't happening.
Yeah, they're not rushing for damn near 500 yards against Oregon. You could pack that up.
Yeah, that's definitely not gonna happen. I'm just I don't see that, and I just think this Oregon team is way too good. I think they kind of fucking, again, I think last week, you know, they were kind of just running a lot of vanilla shit against Idaho, and I think they were just fucking playing, and it looks bad, you know, to the naked eye, but I mean, like, they really dominated the game based on yardage and yards per play and EPA. So I do think I think Oregon really handles business here, bro. And at 20.5,
Yeah.
I would still play it. Like I said, I thought this was going to be like a 23, 24 point spread. So when I saw 18, I immediately fucking played it, and I didn't even fucking hesitate. And I gave it out on Twitter. So if you follow me at Jordan Rules TSP, I gave this out earlier this week. So I did play Oregon minus 18. I will also give out Oregon minus 20.5. I don't hate the over because I think Oregon's going to put up at least 55 on their own. So you just need about, 14 from Boise State, and you'll be good.
About 14 to 10 to 14, 10 to 21 points. Now, one thing I did notice about Oregon is that O-line maybe might not be as good as we thought it was, because they averaged less than 5 yards a carry and they gave up 3 sacks against Idaho. So that's something you might want to keep your eye on, because last year, as a unit, they only gave up 5 sacks the whole season. So
yeah, I also think part of last year, though, part of the reason why they only gave up 5 sacks is because the play calling was a little different. Yeah, he got rid of the ball a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel, obviously, he's like he's not a lot like Caleb Williams, but he does, like, he's mobile, scrambles a lot, sometimes holds on to the ball a little too long. So I expect them to clean up some things this week, and I think they dominate this game, bro. I mean, Georgia Southern moved the ball with ease against them, dude, against Boise. Ease.
That was very alarming if you was Boise State.
And this game is in Oregon. Like, this isn't a neutral site game. This isn't at Boise. Like, if this was at Boise, I'd be like, oh, let's take Boise. But no, this shit is at fucking Oregon, bro. We're taking
that changes shit too, man.
We're taking the Ducks. Quack, quack, motherfuckers. All right, let's get some best bets, Erv.
Here we go.
What do we like this week?
From the games we talked about, I like the over for Colorado and Nebraska. I'll probably see that game being like 34-31, 37-34, that type of game.
What was the over on that?
I think it's 56 or 57.5, something like that. I like the over in that Tennessee and NC State game. I think both quarterbacks show out. And damn, I love the over for the Oregon and the Boise State game too.
Damn, Erv's just playing overs.
I like a lot of overs this weekend.
All right, my best bet: Michigan plus 7.5. Tennessee, NC State over 60.5, and then we're gonna say Nebraska minus 7 as the 3 best bets from the show this week. This week we will be putting out a graphic for our 5 favorite plays this week, so be on the lookout for that. Twitter at taproom_sports. You can follow Irvin at Erv and Jordan TSP. Follow myself at Jordan Rules TSP. You can see us there. But thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure to download the Sharps app, SHARPZ, straight to your mobile device. Use promo code JORD517. It's free to download, free to use. Track your bets, become a better. As I said earlier, you can follow us on Twitter at taproom_sports, Erv at Erv and Jordan TSP, myself at Jordan Rules TSP. You can follow us on Instagram at Taproom Sports Podcast. If you missed any of the show, it is available on all podcast platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast, you can find us there. If you miss any of the show, it'll be up right after the show. We'll be back next Wednesday to discuss. We just had some scheduling conflicts this week, but we will be back next Wednesday to discuss more college football. And we'll be back on Sunday to break down NFL on Sunday this week. Irv?
Let's get it. Let's go.
We'll have some NFL to talk about. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Hope you're enjoying the Thursday night football game. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all later. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.